Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on KAJ, Montana's news leader.
Thousands of Montanans gazed in wonder through telescopes, cameras, and disposable protective glasses today as the moon blotted out the sun in the first full-blown solar eclipse to sweep the U.S. from coast to coast in nearly a century. Good evening, I'm Ariana Lake, and with thrilling cosmic clockwork, the moon passed in front of the sun today, casting a 70-mile wide shadow that swept across the U.S. from coast to coast. It's the moment millions of Americans have been waiting for, and as Don Champion reports from Missouri, it did not disappoint.
A spectacular sight in the sky as the coast-to-coast total eclipse of the sun got underway. The city of Portland, Oregon went dark in the middle of the day as the moon's shadow totally blocked out the sun. Across the nation, crowds gathered to get a glimpse of the phenomenon. This is the first coast-to-coast total eclipse of the sun in nearly 100 years, spanning from Oregon to South Carolina. Millions flocked to the 70-mile wide path of totality.
It's like a big cookie and it took a little bite out of it.
It's like in basically all the pictures you see, but just more magnificent.
During the total eclipse here in St. Joseph, Missouri, it got completely dark out and considerably cooler. You can hear cheers and chants from people gathered. Carbondale, Illinois had the distinction of being in the dark the longest, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And while the focus may be on the path of totality, the rest of the country was treated to a partial eclipse, making it the rare space spectacle the entire nation can enjoy. Don Champion, CBS News, St. Joseph, Missouri.
While Montana was not in the path of totality for the eclipse, thousands of residents turned their eyes to the sky this morning for the big event. There was a special viewing event held at the summit of Whitefish Mountain Resort where people rode the lift or even hiked to the top to witness history. MTN's reporter Jack Ginsburg takes us there.
We're here to go up on Big Mountain and see it, and it's probably the last time in our lifetime we'll get a chance to see it. So, and I guess that's why we're here.
Whitefish Mountain Resort saw over 500 people before 1 p.m. take Chair 1 up to the summit to get a perfect view of the solar eclipse.
Probably the biggest day we've had up here in the summer months. So it's fun. It has had a party atmosphere. A lot of people showed up with blankets and picnics and made a day out of it. So it was really, really fun.
Even the Forest Service showed up with their own projection displays for those who came without glasses.
So to watch a projection of the solar eclipse is safer. We knew we didn't have enough glasses for everyone, and we knew that people would be arriving without their own glasses. So this was a great group viewing experience.
Those who weren't able to get eclipse glasses in time because they sold out had to get a little creative with their own makeshift box.
You just cut a piece of white paper and put it in the back underneath here and tape it in. And then you cut off the ends, and this end is your viewfinder end. And then this end, you did the same thing. There's a hole there, and just poke a hole in there, and then you can see the reflection right through the box on the back, so it's like a playing surface on the back.
People traveling from across the country to come to Glacier National Park got an extra treat by being able to witness a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
And we came out and said, oh, we're going to be here for this special day, so we decided to grab our glasses and binoculars and come on up and have a good morning with the folks here in Whitefish.
Reporting in Whitefish, Jack Ginsburg, MTN News.
Despite all the smoke, most people had a pretty good view of this partial eclipse here in northwest Montana. For the latest on our weather, we'll turn it over to meteorologist Russ Thomas. Russ, did you catch the eclipse today?
I did, but it was funny. I didn't have the glasses, so I did actually very briefly borrowed them. So I did look up. For the most part, though, just noticed how kind of hazy, almost dark it got in the Missoula Valley and all of western Montana. So we're going to start with our St. Joseph Medical Center iCam. You can see right here we are looking at a nice afternoon. Yeah, a little smoky out there for sure. Temperatures actually feeling pretty good. 83 pulsing right now. That's actually the warm spot as you see our current temperatures. 80 Missoula, 77 Hamilton, 79 degrees in Kalispell. I'll have your complete forecast coming up.
Thanks so much, Russ. Cooler temperatures, higher humidity, and cloud cover slows activity of the Sprague fire yesterday. The fire perimeter is estimated to have grown 60 acres. It's now 1,183 acres. Fire managers are using a helicopter today to cool those hot spots and slow the fire growth in the Snyder Creek drainage. Now, this fire is burning along the eastern side of Lake McDonald on the Gunsight Trail. The area where it's burning is on very steep and rocky terrain, making it nearly impossible to get these firefighters on the ground. It's also in an area with a lot of dry biofuels that were basically just waiting to be burned up. The trail from Lake McDonald to Gunsight Pass is currently closed. You can check the park's website for the latest updates on trail and campground closures. A fire information line will also be staffed from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. That number is 406-888-7077. No injuries reported tonight after a grease fire explodes inside a Kalispell restaurant this morning. Kalispell Fire Chief Dave Dedman says crews responded to Finnegan's restaurant on East Idaho Street at about 6 a.m. They arrived to find heavy smoke billowing from the back of the building near the kitchen area. And what started all this, they think, was that a kitchen fryer had ignited. Employees evacuated safely and no one was reportedly injured, but officials tell us, and as you can see, pretty significant damage to that building. Kalispell, Evergreen, and Whitefish fire departments all responded to the scene. The Lolo Peak fire grows to nearly 31,500 acres and is less than 10% contained tonight. Some good news though. Some of the mandatory evacuation orders for residents along Highway 12 and the west side of Highway 93 were lifted at 10 o'clock this morning. The Montana National Guard is in place with 154 soldiers providing help to the Missoula and Ravalli County Sheriff's offices in road closures and the evacuation programs. You can check out our website for a full list of evacuations for folks in that area. The Mineral County Sheriff is allowing some residents to return home that live near the Sunrise Fire. 3 residents around Joe Megan's resident on Trout Creek were allowed back into their houses today. They're now on evacuation warning. The upper end of Trout Creek from Lee Megan's residents continues to be mandatory evacuation orders. Firefighters continue to mop up and secure around homes from Quartz Creek to the Verde Creek area. Also, a fire information hotline is available for residents daily between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. Residents near Seeley Lake can expect to see quiet fire conditions today. Aircrafts will be dropping retardant and water to help firefighting operations on the Rice Ridge fire. They'll really be concentrating bucket work on the west side to keep fire growth in check as it slowly but steadily backs downhill. The Rice Ridge fire has burned close to 16,000 acres. It's just 9% contained tonight. There is a community meeting tonight. It's at 6 p.m. at the Seeley Lake Elementary School. Firefighters are also battling a 3,000-acre fire burning in Glacier County. It was started by a 7-year-old playing with a lighter last Wednesday. It's now 39% contained. About 32 firefighters are working to stop its spread. And 2 people charged with killing 2 other people and putting their bodies in barrels filled with chemicals made their first court appearance this afternoon. 23-year-old Tiffany Pierce and 26-year-old Augustus Standing Rock are both charged with homicide. Police found the human remains in a basement last Thursday in Missoula. In court documents, when police searched the home, it details that afternoon that Standing Rock and Pierce were inside. They were arrested. During the search, police say they found the bodies in plastic tubs filled with chemicals. They say they found knives and an axe covered in blood and human tissue in the home. Investigators have not yet been able to identify the victims, although court documents say it was a woman and a man that were found dead. Both suspects remain in the Missoula County Detention Center. The Montana judge orders Congressman Greg Gianforte to take a mugshot and be fingerprinted at the Gallatin County Detention Center by September 15th. Gianforte pleaded guilty to misdemeanor assault after body slamming Guardian reporter Ben Jacobs the night before the special election. Gianforte had not been arrested and booked into the detention center the night of the assault. He was only issued a citation. At his hearing back in May, Judge West ordered Gianforte to be formally booked. When his attorneys objected, the final ruling came down last Thursday. The congressman was also ordered to 40 hours of community service, 20 hours of anger management, and almost $400 in fines as part of his sentence. And President Donald Trump will unveil a new military strategy for Afghanistan on national television tonight. CBS News has learned he likely will send in more troops. Mola Langby has more from the White House.
U.S. troops in Afghanistan could soon be getting reinforcements. The president is expected to outline a plan to send about 4,000 more and put new pressure on Pakistan to stop providing safe haven for terrorists when he goes on national television tonight.
The president has made a decision, as he said. He wants to be the one to announce it to the American people, so I'll stand silent.
The president met with key advisors last week at Camp David. Defense Secretary James Mattis said the president's decision-making process was rigorous and involved all members of his national security team. President Trump made his Afghanistan decision without former chief strategist Steve Bannon, who was fired on Friday. It was Bannon who urged the president to send paid mercenaries instead of troops to Afghanistan. The president has often questioned whether the U.S. should pull out of the country.
I want to find out why. We've been there for 17 years.
Virginia Senator Tim Kaine, a member of the Armed Services Committee, appeared on MSNBC's Morning Joe.
We want to be invested in Afghanistan, I mean, to kind of put it bluntly, so that what happens in Afghanistan stays in Afghanistan.
The U.S. sent troops to Afghanistan in 2001 following the September 11th terror attacks. It is the longest war in U.S. history. Mola Lengi, CBS News, the White House.
The president will make his first primetime broadcast on a specific policy issue to the nation as president at 7 p.m. You can watch that right here on KAJ. After the break, U.S. Navy destroyer collides with a ship. We'll bring you the latest in the search for the missing sailors. Plus, a new study says most moms aren't putting their babies to sleep safely. Experts weigh in after the break.